Welcome to another episode of Adventures in Not.net. I'm Sean Claybo, your host, and I'm hearing myself. And with me today at our first live streaming show. Of course, there's going to be a little bit of issues, but we'll get all straightened out. We've got our co-hosts. We've got Adam Permonic. Hey, Adam.
Hey, folks. Nice to see you.
We got the one and only. Yep, the one and only Mark Miller.
I'm here. There's only one of me, kids.
And we got Christian Wins.
Hi, everyone.
It's the whole Brady bunch, right? Yeah.
It is. But we're not alone today.
No, we're not alone. So let's bring out a guest. Let's welcome Josef Pihrt. Welcome, Josef.
Yeah, hello, and thank you for inviting me.
Oh, absolutely. Glad to have you on the show. Yeah. So we like to start things off, Josef, by giving a little introduction to yourself and kind of how you got into development and how you got into .NET. So if you want to start us there, go right ahead.
Yeah, so I am .NET developer, but I studied University of Economics, so my education is a bit different, but over the time I discovered that programming it's actually much more fun than the business and the some accounting and numbers and stuff like this. So, and I started with Visual Basic for applications and Access database, and then over the time I moved to more sophisticated languages, and I ended up with C# and .NET, and I think it's a great language, much better than Visual Basic actually. But yeah, and if my hobbies, I'm really avid biker, cross country biker. Also, if I can make a little promo, I recently founded a website called bohemiantrails.cz, which is about cross-country bike trails in Prague and surroundings. So if you will be in the Czech Republic in Prague, you can check it out. And yeah, and then I can of course introduce the Roslynator.
Absolutely. So what's that?
Yeah, so it's like a set of static code analysis tools mostly for C#. Some features also works for Visual Basic, but mainly it's for C#. And there are several parts. The main parts probably is a NuGet packages with analyzers, and then, for example, a command line tool, and also some testing framework. If you develop your own analyzer, you can unit test it with this framework. Also, IDE extension for Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. Yeah, and it's basically it's a productivity tool. It will improve your productivity, and yeah, it's I think it's really, it's not like I said that you should combine it with some other tool like Copilot, and I also use code snippets a lot, but the Roslynator is really like important part of the productivity.
So would you have a specific example? So what is a specific feature that you could, a specific thing you could do with Roslynator? I think it basically the Roslynator probably suggest that it's Roslyn powered basically, or is using Roslyn as kind of core.
Definitely it's powered
And
by
it's doing code
Roslyn.
analysis essentially, right? Is that then the idea? Okay.
Yeah, it's static code analysis basically, and so the common usage is that you reference the Nugget package with the analyzers, and that then probably you will have to do some configuration, and then it will just work. So if you are in the Visual Studio or VS Code, you will see some suggestions, and also usually you can apply the code fix, which is great. So it's not only that you will get some message that something is wrong or something can be improved, but also you have the chance to fix it automatically, for example, in the entire solution by one click, which is like about, again, it's about the productivity. So it's really fast to apply some code style changes or stuff like this. So this is a one part, like the set of analyzers in a Nugget package, and the second important part is the ID extensions, which gives you a set of refactorings, which some people like confuses with the analyzer, because usually in the IDE you see it in a one context menu, the analyzer and the refactoring. So but it's a really important distinction between these two. So the analyzer is like some rule or code style rule, or some possible improvement in the code, and usually it runs in the background, and the IDE gives you the suggestions or messages in the error list for entire solution, let's say, about something that can be improved. But the refactoring, which is part of the ID extension, it's some like one-time operation. For example, let's say you have a switch statement, and refactorings can be something like transform this switch statement into switch expression or into if else. Yeah, so this is really important two parts of the code analysis: the analyzer and the refactorings. And also the third part, it's the code fix, which can be, usually the code fix is like the part of the analyzer, but also you can implement the code fix for compiler error. So the CS for digits, the compiler diagnostics, you can implement your own fixes for these compiler errors. So these are like three main parts of the code analysis.
So for these compiler errors, does it mean that your tool can automatically fix the code? And if yes, then how does it recognize what to do? Is it based on the error code, error message? How does it work?
Yeah, it's based on the error code. So it can be like CS 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can implement your own code fix. So in the code, you will say if the diagnostic ID is CS1234, then offer some code fix. And again, this code fix can be applied for like whole document or project or solution.
So what I didn't get yet. So does Roslynator come with already several of these, these fixes and recommendations, and is looking for patterns, or is it a framework to write your own analyzers and fixes?
Yeah, so like the the base is the Roslyn, like the Roslyn API or Roslyn library. So you can start with the Roslyn and develop your own analyzers or refactorings. So if the Roslynator analyzes Nugget package, it's like the set of analyzers. So it's like it's not a library for development of your analyzers, but it's just a set of analyzers. But Roslynator also provides the client libraries that are like the extension of Roslyn API and contains a lot of mostly like extension methods that are not present in the Roslyn library. So you can use these client libraries to develop your own analyzers, and it will probably make your development easier because there are really like tens or hundreds of useful methods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've implemented analyzers myself without Roslynator, and in some areas that's really quite cumbersome, or at least requires quite some code, right? So I'm all up for having that very promising extra extension methods, especially.
And also, if I can interrupt you, the testing framework is also really useful because like at the beginning, where there was no testing framework, for me the only way to test it was to start another instance of the Visual Studio, open the some project with the extension running, and here I was able to test if the analyzer works as expected. But this is really like terrible because you have to wait for it's really it's terrible. So if you have the testing framework, you just write some really simple code, and the code that should like emit the diagnostic, and then you can add some like the code that contains like the fixed code, the code with the code fix applied, and this way you can really improve the development because it's like with the unit test it's just better.
What can I do across whole, let's say, software development lifecycle with this Roslynator? Am I limited only to like compilation time, or maybe can I even use it somehow to analyze how the application works afterwards? For instance, I don't know, let's say that I'm writing an ORM code and I'm running into n+1 queries problem, right? So I don't do eager loading, but I do lazy loading. Is Roslynator capable of being helpful in such a case, like taking also the runtime information of how the code worked afterwards? Or do we focus entirely on the compilation time?
Yeah, I would say it's a static code analysis. So it's if the information is in the code, like if it's like some different method overall, then it will be able to detect it. But if the information is only available during runtime, then I would say no.
Okay. Would it be possible to run some code from within Roslynator? I mean, you have access to the whole syntax tree, correct? Or maybe let's do the opposite. What can I actually access from Roslynator? I imagine it's a substract syntax tree. Is there anything else I can do from there?
Yeah, there are like several layers. So like as you said, the abstract syntax tree, it's the syntax layer, and then it's the metadata semantic layer, which is similar to system reflection. But in the Roslyn, it's each type it's called symbol. So yeah, these are like two basic approach. You can either you can combine it, but generally you can either analyze the syntax, which is the syntax tree, or the semantic, which is the semantic model, and the symbols, so the types. And so for example, if you have some expression, what type is it, or which declaration is it, and stuff like this. So yeah.
Okay, so I have this whole information based on the code. How does it work when the code doesn't compile? Is the abstract syntax tree broken? Are the points where it's broken like marked in special way? How does it work when I have all those red squiggles in my IDE?
Yeah, so your question is like, it's not like Roslynator specific. I would say it's Roslyn, but it's okay. So yeah, it depends on you always will get some syntax tree, yeah, but it depends on how much broken is it. So you can, for example, if it's broken, then it can happen that you will ask the Roslyn API what symbol or type is this expression, and it can return it's error. It does not know what symbol is it. So this can happen, but yeah. So you have to, if you write analyzer, you must take into account the fact that usually when the developer write the code, it can be broken just because it's just not written entirely. So you have to count with this.
Okay, that sounds good. So we have the syntax tree. It will work even if the code doesn't work. So this is cool. Now, how does it look like to actually implement such an analyzer? What are the steps? How do I begin that? What any good practices around that? How does it look like?
Yeah, so the some sample analysis is like super simple. You will just you have a class and you will decorate it with some designated attribute, and which will say like this is the analyzer class for these languages. Usually, I just implement analyzer for C#, but generally it can be C# and Visual Basic. And in this class, you will say I want, and again, like you can start with the symbol. So you can say I want to analyze, like, I don't know, like class symbols or stuff like this. Or you can analyze the syntax. So you will say I want to analyze all, I don't know, like method declaration, and then you have to implement the logic for all method declaration in the code that it's being analyzed. And with the code fix is very similar. You will you have a class, and you will decorate it with some attribute again, and the language. You will specify the language, and you have to like detect what the diagnostic ID is. So you have some your analyzer can be some usually, for example, Roslynator analyzers is some RSC and 4 digits. So this is the identifier. So in the configs, you have to like check what the ID is, and based on this, you will decide how to implement the code fix.
And can I change the code without like user permission through this analyzer, or does the user always need to accept, approve, or do some manual click to apply the changes?
Yeah, so the analyzer like produces the diagnostics. So this is something that you see in the error list, and nothing is changed. This is the first step, and the second like optional step. But I always say that it's like if you can, you should implement the code fix, because it like put the analyzer on a different level if you have the code fix. Yeah, so the code fix usually changes the code, so the user just chooses if just fix the one occurrence or the all occurrences in the document, project, or solution. So
cool, that sounds good. How do I find analyzers? Can I download them from Nugget, or how do I find useful analyzers?
Are they part of
Yeah,
the
so
default distribution?
Sorry?
Are they part of the code base anyway? So is everything in one place, or
Yeah, does it come
there
with
an
its own
ecosystem?
analyzers already?
Yeah, so the main like the package is this Roslynator.analyzers, and this is the main package. So you will just reference it in your projects file, and it will partially work, but there is necessary some configuration to the editor configuration to tweak it, and yeah, then it works in your IDE.
So does Roslynator complement other tools like ReSharper or CodeRush, or does it duplicate a lot of the things that they do?
Yeah, probably, and also that there are like built-in analyzers for Microsoft, and yeah, over the time, some analyzers, the Roslynator analyzers, were essentially replaced by built-in Microsoft analyzers, which is okay. And then these like Roslynator analyzers can be deactivated or disabled. And yeah, I forgot the name. CodeRush and
ReSharper.
ReSharper. So yeah, it's ReSharper. It's very similar tool, but Roslynator is for free. But yeah, the ReSharper is probably much more powerful, but it's paid.
So, Joseph, I should probably start with a disclaimer. I lead the CodeRush team at DevExpress, so consider all the bias that might bring. But I was interested to know, how did you enjoy working with Roslyn? Did you find anything missing, or did you find that it had just about everything you needed in terms of moving forward?
Yeah, I would say that it's a great library, and even that as I said, there is the Roslynator client libraries which add some extension methods and stuff like this. But yeah, the Roslyn is a great library, and I would say, as you said, you can pretty much do anything you imagine. So yeah, it's
So,
great.
okay, my second question is like, where do you see your highest value inside of Roslynator? And I almost want to break it into two questions. Like, architecturally, what do you think provides the highest value? And then also, just from a standpoint of analyzers, what's your like favorite analyzer or group of analyzers?
Yeah, so I would say the like for the user, the main value is productivity. That you like, let's say for example, the code reviews. I think that people should not discuss during code reviews if here should be like blank line or if this should be explicit type or implicit type. So this is something that Roslynator and of course some other tools will will do for you. So you can then focus on some other more important things. So this is from the user point of view. And from my point of view, like the developer, like I like that you really fast you will get some like the product, some real result that you see in the IDE. You see the like the squiggles and you see the results. So this is something I like, that it's not some internal library that you actually the user does not see, but it's like really like front end front end product.
But would you see? I mean, there are already analyzers that are part of, say, Visual Studio, right? That there are some suggestions, there are some refactoring features. With the example you gave, which I found was a great example in terms of coding style. There's also something like style corp and other options as well. So how do you distinguish your project from those features? If you of course ignore that you also have that client library that makes developing such analyzers much easier, right? But are there like and I think that's also what the other questions kind of pointed to, right? Are there specific analyzers or specific feature where you say, okay, that they are so unique to my project and they're just so much more useful than what say Visual Studio is shipping out of the box? So would you say you have some USPs, so to speak?
Yeah, I think that, as I said,
Mhm.
the at the beginning, like there were like more analyzers that were not built in the Visual Studio, let's say. Now over the time, some features were implemented by Microsoft, which is
So they're
like,
copying you. Is that what?
yeah, exactly.
What could have been? Okay.
Yeah, you see, I don't want to say it, but you said it.
Yeah,
So.
that's why we are here for, right? That's what we're here for. So we can
Yeah,
Exactly.
do simulation.
I can't say that, Christian. Only you can say that. Maybe Adam and Sean.
Oh well, I think Adam said it. We have very similar voices.
Okay, good. So
Right. Yeah.
I didn't say it.
Yeah. Yeah, so originally it was my analysis, then over the time it's
Okay.
like it's Microsoft, but what you can do. But no, but I'm kidding. But yeah, but I would say that I really don't try to duplicate the analysis that I know that are already built in, and I try to come up with some analyzers that are not like I know I think that Microsoft will not implement, and this is like, so it's like complement to the built-in analyzers, and also I think you can use Roslynator analyzers, and as you say the style corp and some other stuff. So I think that the best way is to combine what is available.
Joseph, what's your criteria for as you move forward to maybe create a new analyzer, or if you're talking to other developers about creating a new analyzer, what things are you thinking about in terms of as you're moving forward? What are your concerns before you say yes or decide to move forward on a new analyzer?
Yeah, it's a great question, because like the generally over the time it's like it's harder to find some idea that could be implemented as an analyzer. So this is a like general observation. But then, yeah, if you have some idea, then you have to decide if it's like possible to implement, because it's quite common that some people from the community will post on a GitHub some issue with some idea about it would be great to implement this and that, and I thought to myself that it sounds great, but it's either it's like not as useful, or it's impossible to essentially to implement it in with the given API, because it's too complicated, and it does not pay off. Yeah, so you have to really think twice before starting implementing the analyzer, because and it happened to me several times that I started to implement some analyzer, and then I realized that really it's like I found myself in a rabbit hole that things become really complicated, too complicated. So you have to like give up and stop. So
Okay. Is there a time where the Roslynator analyzers kind of collide with the analyzers that are already in, let's say Visual Studio or VS Code or any IDE, or I mean, oh no, wait, you use the NuGet package, right? So the analyzers, are they then tied to the project or the solution, or are they
this
IDE
is really
wide? It depends on
this is
which
like
they use, right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
you can include the analysis in the extensions, Visual Studio extensions or VS Code extension, but yeah,
And
this
then
is
it's
what
for the whole IDE, right? Then so the
yeah,
analyzers
and
are then
then
applied
like
to everything. Okay.
yeah, it's like the IDE wide. So yeah, and this is what I did at the beginning, because it looked like the easiest way how to give the developers the experience. But then I realized that it's not as good, because like usually the set of rules are bound to the project or the solution.
Yeah, that was what I was
Like
wondering,
the
right?
code style. So
Yeah.
if you have a team of developers, you need that everyone will follow the rules, and the way to do it is to reference the package in the project, not to say all developers install this extension. So like this is something that will happen in the future, that the analysis will be removed from the IDE extensions.
Okay.
And like you will have the refactorings in the IDE extension, and the NuGet package will contain the analysis.
Okay, excellent. So at the moment, I looked at your GitHub repository. So you're the core contributor of the project. I think there are a couple of other contributors, but looks like they basically submitted a couple of pull requests. So how would you pitch your project for additional contributors? So maybe developers who are hearing us and see the value in the project and would also like to chime in or have ideas for analyzers or extension methods. Yeah.
Like the Roslynator started as a like one developer project, and currently it's like unfortunately it's still like one developer project mostly. So but yeah, I would like to attract more developers. So, and actually like the 1 hour ago or 2 hours ago, some guy took the some issue which was marked like up for grabs, and implemented some PR. So this is great. and this is
So
something I did.
Hacktoberfest is happening. Could that be the case? Are you taking part in that? That's, I
No.
think DigitalOcean sponsors every October kind of competition where I think you have to do 4 accepted non-trivial pull requests on GitHub, and if they're
Well,
accepted, then I
I
think you win a digital token or they plant a tree or something.
okay,
So October is where I see most contributions, weirdly, right, from people who rarely contribute. So that's actually
okay.
pretty amazing.
Yeah. So
Okay,
and
so
and
there is traction, and I mean you almost have 3,000 stars on GitHub, right? So that people see value in that project, right? So
yeah,
that's
and
what
also I
yeah.
just want to add that I also on the documentation side I added the developers section, which should be really focused on the people who wanted to contribute but don't know how, and so yeah, so they can go to this section and find some information, useful information.
Excellent. So how long ago did you start Roslynator, and kind of what made you start it?
I think it was like 2015 or 16. So it was like about the time that the Roslyn was published, and yeah, and like I tried to implement some analysis, and immediately I as I said I like it that you really see some results, immediate results, and yeah. So over the time I if I had some idea, I add the analyzer and or refactorings and or the code fix, and now it's quite like a lot of code, but it was fun.
Definitely. So the Roslynator project is within the .NET organization on GitHub. So on github.com/.net/Roslynator. So maybe for those listeners and viewers who don't know, how can you achieve that? How can you make a project or create a project on GitHub within that organization?
Yeah. So I don't know exactly how I heard about the .NET Foundation, but then I found some information, and like it seemed to me like a good idea to be part of .NET Foundation, and also it motivated me to improve the project. For example, to significantly improve the CI/CD pipeline, because it's really, if you don't have the pipeline, it's really cumbersome to make a new release. So and yeah, I applied. It's just
yeah. So how does this work? So what kind of information do you have to provide? If
yeah, it's a GitHub repo. When you post an issue, which is some template, and you fill the template, and then the people from the .NET Foundation decide whether yes or no, and if yes, then you have to follow some procedure, and it's like I was at the beginning, I was like afraid to move the project to the .NET organization, but it was, I would say, it was pretty smooth, and I would say that I am like the project is the same. I am the admin of the repo, and like it runs as before.
Excellent.
So how
Plus,
long
you
did
have
the
additional
process?
visibility, right?
Sorry.
And you have additional visibility, of course, due to the umbrella of the.
Yeah, I would say it's a great for like have better publicity or
Okay. But you didn't have to transfer, I don't know, copyrights or anything to the foundation.
Yeah, there are some partial copyrights. I would say that the Roslynator, the license is Apache 2, which is really like permissive license. So even before it was like really permissive. So I didn't like afraid about some licenses and stuff like this. So, but I think you can if someone is interested, you can check it out on a .NET Foundation website. But for me, it was not like the issue to the copyrights and stuff like this.
Excellent.
Joseph?
All right. Sorry, Adam, we cut you off.
Never mind. Mark, you go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I'm thinking, when I think about analyzers, I think that if you start at kind of the simplest level, you're checking for things like, an extra line, for example, at the end of a switch statement or something like that, right? Things that you can very quickly determine, and you can have a lot of those kinds of analyzers. And then as we start stepping up in complexity, the challenge of writing the analyzer seems to get steep pretty quickly, right? For example, detecting security issues. Or maybe the example of I've got something in an old version of a project, and now I want to upgrade it to a new version, a new way of doing it, a new framework, for example. Much more complex. Checking for duplicate code is complex and perhaps even a perf hit, time consuming, right? So you've got like these kind of simple, this kind of, this very many broad, many analyzers, broad, simple, and then you've got this kind of spike, as I imagine it, right? Of things that as we get to things that are elusive and sometimes maybe even, impacting a small portion of the users, not everyone. As an example, upgrading a project, for example, may impact only a portion, or maybe you've got you've got a memory leak somewhere, and we could detect that with static code analysis, but that's also challenging sometimes. So I guess my question in this, considering this spike is do you have aspirations of implementing up in this really hard level, this space that's hard to implement, and that may have maybe not a huge payoff in terms of a high demand of use? Or are you, we're on this, in this place, do you kind of say, okay, we're going to stop, and we weren't going to, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think you described it pretty precisely. That really, it's as you said, some like there is a package Roslynator.formatting.analysis, which is exactly as you said. Like here should be blank line, or here remove empty line and stuff like this. And these analyzers are not like super easy, but it's straightforward. Just analyze the trivia, as it is called in the Roslyn, so the white spaces and stuff like this, and decide if remove something, remove some white space, or add some blank line, stuff like this. So it's a straightforward. But then, like as you said, some analysis of the semantic analysis can really get complicated really quickly, and the spike, as you said, it's so and finally it can turn out that it's not as useful as the time you have to invest into the development of such analyzers. So so now I would say that maybe some AI stuff like the Copilot, maybe it's better for these some. So I think that maybe the AI can determine some patterns better than the static code analysis, and maybe that would be one way to leave this super complicated analysis to the AI and focus on much simpler but still useful things like code style and formatting and stuff like this.
It's a great idea. I like it.
And soon it's going to be in CodeRush.
Moo-ha! I tricked him into revealing his whole plan.
No, so what do you have planned for Roslynator, Joseph? What's coming up?
I would say that it's really in a mature state, and also, like as I said, I started like 6 years ago, and I spent really much more time than I anticipated or wanted, but I just had to do it. So yeah, but I for me now it would be the best state would be to attract some developers to implement future the features in the future, and I would focus on code reviews and stuff like this, and like it's really time consuming, so you cannot or you can do it, but you will spend your entire life developing some open source project which is not like desirable. So yeah, I would say that the project as it is now, it's really mature, it's stable, and a lot of unit tests and stuff like this, and but probably you can add some useful analyzers, refactorings, maybe even some code fixes for the compiler errors. And I would be really pleased if some people come and say, I want to implement this feature, and I would say like, great, do it, and then I would just do some review, and this would be like yeah. But the problem is that and people like write it in the issues on a GitHub that they are not familiar with the Roslyn API, and they are just probably they are afraid to implement try to implement something. So but maybe this podcast will help to attract some guys and girls.
Yeah, we hope so. Okay, so I think I'm going to move us on to picks. Thanks for your discussion there on Roslynator, Joseph. So let's see, Mark, do you want to go first for picks this week?
I don't know if we have lawyers involved, but they're probably going to want to review what I'm about to say. But the most exciting thing that happened to me in the last week was riding at high speed on my bike through heavy traffic in Valencia, Spain. I highly recommend it. It was incredibly thrilling. I'm weaving in between buses. It was so exciting. I loved it. And I went out and I shot out in front of all the cars and on my bike, and I loved it. It was the best, most thrilling day of my life. Highly recommend it. Check with the attorneys. It may not be something you want to do.
And your insurance.
Yeah. Now.
And your hairs, and yeah.
Yeah. Now, on just related to what we're talking about, though, is really interesting to me. Dev Express, the company I work for, has got had a problem. The problem is that their tech support hit was big because we sell controls, and people were maybe using the controls in the wrong way, right? Or they were using it in an older way, and the newer way was better. And we created analyzers to solve this problem. And what's interesting about this is you can use the tech support burden, right, to go after, to justify building the analyzers that are maybe a little bit heavier, right? So if you are a company that has tech support, you're selling to developers, you've got an API, you've got tech support issues, or you're taking your API and advancing it over time, this might be something to connect with Josef on, right? To justify, right, the use of analyzers to reduce your tech support burden. We did it, and impact was huge inside for us. So interesting. That's my pick. Is that the pick is using this technology to solve tech support burdens.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Right. Adam, you want to go next?
Yeah, I do. And I can see last time underwater hockey was not the craziest stuff, as we can see with Mark. Not to say, Sean, Christian, next time it's one of you doing some dangerous approaches. And when
Yeah,
it comes...
that Mark thing reminded me of being in California, the motorcycle riders on the highway there, where they just zip in and out in between, go straight down they go straight down the dotted line in between everything. It's like crazy.
Yeah, I think I've seen motorcycles on their front wheel, balancing on the front wheel in LA, but not on the freeway, but on I think it was like on Hollywood Boulevard or something like that.
Yeah. All right, go Adam.
So my pick for this week is, generally I would just call one application, although there are many similar, and it's called Virtual Master Android application that lets you run an Android inside an Android. So you can virtualize your Android phone inside an Android phone. When can that be useful? When one time I mentioned multiple accounts application on Android that lets you clone a particular application many times. But sometimes you need to have a group of applications working together. For instance, Microsoft Intune portal with something else, right? In that case, you might actually try creating a virtual machine on your phone and install stuff there. It's completely isolated, completely separate from your personal stuff or whatever you hold on your phone. And maybe it's gonna work for you. As mentioned, there are many applications like this one, so it's not that I'm, specifically picking this as the best, nothing like that. I'm just, picking up the concept that you can virtualize Android on Android, and it seems like it's a common thing nowadays. So that's my pick for this week.
All right. Christian, what's your pick?
Yeah, so I had planned something else, but I started playing around with something called Quiver this week. And I think it's a product that basically lets you connect to ChatGPT and alternative options. And the idea is that you basically provide a set of files, like I don't know, the book you've been writing or the documentation of your product, which you have in digital form, and then you can query that data. So explain to me what the product does, or find out how I can achieve this with that. And I find this and I mean, we also in this podcast we have talked about AI, and also sometimes what is called AI but is not AI. And as we have been pretty critical in some aspects, and do see great potential in some other aspects. And I found this really one of those use cases that doesn't just sound like, I've been doing that with a couple of if statements since I've been doing that for years. But okay, this actually quite makes sense. I haven't played around with that long enough to give kind of final assessment for me. But yeah, there's the websites, and of course will be the show notes, Quiver app, and there is also a GitHub repository. And I find this pretty interesting, and we'll try to dig a little bit deeper into that. And maybe it's under active development, and maybe it's interesting for some of our listeners or viewers as well.
Tapping on that, I was recently playing with Llama 2 open source models, and you can actually now find many GitHub repositories showing you how to set up your own ChatGPT, where you can feed with the files of your choice. So kind of similar to what you're saying, and pretty useful for doing, I don't know, your personal wiki or company wiki or whatever. Feed that through and never use search engine again, just as your personal bot.
Exactly. And the files then are local, right? So you don't have to go
Yeah,
to
you
someone
you
else's
control
cloud,
all
right?
of that,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah, yeah.
private as later. The only problem is you need to have a powerful machine. I was running that on dedicated server with like 64 core CPU, and like the thingy that ChatGPT would answer me in like blink of split second or whatever was taking something like 7 minutes to answer. So not
Ooh.
that performant, I must say. And I was using, if you don't know, I was using Llama, I think it was 22B. So even not the most powerful model. There are like bigger 70B or whatever. But generally, if you go with GPU or inferential, I guess it's going to be much faster. But it does work even on CPU machine. So if you just want to experiment with that, it's really now approachable for free from GitHub, or just take products, just like Christian mentioned.
No wonder they say all these AI things are taking up so much power, you know?
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
All right, Joseph, do you have a pick for us?
Well, a second
Yeah.
pick, right?
The
The
second
first
pick,
pick
yeah.
was Bohemian Trails, ZZ,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, this was just promo, but yeah, but as Mark said, the story about the bike, I also have an interesting like the story. I rode a bike through the Prague, and it was raining, and it was night, and I was riding along the like the cars in a traffic jam, and then it happened the usual situation when the doors open. Exactly.
No.
In the, so I was on the ground very, very fast, but it was not direct hit. It was just. But then what was funny that it turned out that it was the woman that opened the door was very famous Czech actress Tatiana Dikova. So I was like so surprised, and so I said, if it's you, then okay.
Did you fall in love with her? Did she like look at you, and did you look up?
Yes, she's married. So, but
Darn.
it was.
If the car door opened, did it hit your steering, your handlebar?
Yeah, it was like the like.
Oh my God!
Just a slight hit from the side, so it was not direct hit to the doors. But
that's one of my biggest fears, because that's your bike is going to go down. Your bike stops, and you keep going.
Yes.
Right?
So this was like I was just like hit out of balance, but it was.
Okay.
Oh, and then I realized that because I have the grapes made of silicone, and usually when the grapes on the handlebars hits the ground, it breaks. So yeah. If of course it happened that it breaks, so I realized that I should have asked the actress to compensation,
Yeah.
but it was too late.
Sign your bike, yeah, something.
Or do a scene, act something. I want to see some acting.
Or selfie at least, but
there you go.
You guys remember the bike scene in European Vacation where Clark hits the guy from Monty Python?
I don't remember that. I don't think I saw that.
Oh yeah, he's over in Europe and driving the car around, and he pulls out, and the guy from, I think it might have been Terry Gilliam or something, I remember right. He pulls out in front of him. He just smashes right into him. Bike's destroyed. Terry gets up and goes. Of course, he does the old, "Oh, it's just a flesh wound. No problem."
I saw it, but I don't remember this scene.
Yeah.
All right, Sean.
All right, my pick this week. Something is that I always enjoy is I like good quality audio, sound, and things like that when I'm listening to music. Whether it's headphones that I got on, or in the car. I used to do car stereo competitions, or outside. So like when I'm playing softball or I'm out working the yards, I like to have good quality audio out there. So I used to have a little small Bose, Bluetooth speaker out there, but it really didn't give me the rate of sound. So this summer, I found this kind of a boombox type of device. It's made by Soundcore, which is actually product of Anker. So if you know all the different chargers and batteries and out there made by Anker, that's Soundcore, and it's called the Motion Boom Plus. It's missing. It doesn't have the cassette tape in it anymore, or the CD radio, or things like that. But it's got really good sound, and it's all rechargeable. Works off your phone. So if I'm playing, music from my phone right into the machine, it works great there. It even actually acts as a charger. So if you have devices that you need to charge, you can plug those things in the back of the machine and charge it up off of this, because it has a pretty hefty battery that'll last probably a couple days if you're not using it 24 hours. But so yeah, check out Motion Boom Plus if you're looking for something for good quality sound outdoors. All right, guys. Thanks, Joseph, for coming on and talking about Roslynator. Yep. It was a good show. Appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me and have a chance to introduce Roslynator.
Yeah,
And
great.
developers, go help out Joseph, for goodness sakes. Come on.
Help wanted.
So if the listeners do want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
I would say that just like if you mean the contribution, just take a look at the repo and the list of issues, and there are issues that are marked or labeled with like up for grabs or something like this. So, but there are also many other issues that could be implemented. So yeah, just don't afraid. And as I said, there is a special section on the documentation side. So I would say that just don't be afraid, and just try to implement something. And I would say that don't afraid if then you will get some code review that something could be changed or improved, and because it's a way how to make it better. So yeah.
Okay, great.
Excellent.
Thanks, everybody. And we'll catch all the listeners and now viewers on the next episode of Adventures in .NET.